Hello everyone! Kumusta po kayo? Wherever you are, you may be in the Philippines or maybe currently in Thailand, just as I am. Hopefully, and I pray that you are finally getting your well-deserved rest. I know life has been very challenging ever since I started this vlogging or sharing godly inspiration through video platform. I just the situations around us are a bit tough, but I declare and I continue to pray in my spirit that God is meeting you. I know that God will meet you wherever you are, whichever season you are in. Kung nasa waiting process ka ngayon, I just pray that God will meet you in your need, in your current season. Now, for today's video, I mentioned a while ago the waiting process because I believe waiting can be very frustrating, especially for us humans that are very, very limited, very limited when it comes to our perception about time. However, it's very helpful to know, and it's a how do we say it? It's a truth that we need to rely on when it comes to waiting, because God doesn't perceive time as we do. So maybe we're rushing some things. Maybe we're wary about the answers to this prayer. Maybe we are already, alam mo yun, hindi napapagod na tayo to wait for the realization of our plans, our dreams. But be comforted that God's timing is really not the same as our perception of time. So, let's read Psalms 62 verse 5 to 8. A psalm of David, when God also, put him in a situation where he was supposed to wait for God's answer. It says here, this is his mainly more than talking to God, but is also declaring in himself that, it says in verse 5 to 8, "My soul wait in silence for God alone, for my hope is from Him. He alone is my rock and my salvation, my refuge. I will not be shaken. My salvation and my glory rest on God. The rock of my strength, my refuge is in God. Trust in Him at all times, you people. Pour out your hearts before Him. God is a refuge for us." Amen. Yes, indeed, what should be our character, what should be our attitude, our behavior when it comes to waiting, especially because it's a struggle for many of us who have been accustomed to instantaneous effect, meaning instantaneous result. We want everything to happen now. We want it now. Most of the time, we want it instant. We want it abrupt. We want it to happen based on our perception of time. But, three things that I would like to share with you today. In our waiting, hopefully we would find ourselves humble. So first is humility. Instead of us demanding that God do things in the way we perceive it, in the way we expected it, in the way we want it, let's just be humble enough to know that His ways are higher than our ways. It says in Isaiah, and our thoughts are just way too limited when it comes to comparing it to His thoughts. For His thoughts are also higher than ours. So let's just be humble enough to know that in our own capacity to think, God is indeed higher than those. And He knows that if He asks us to wait, He is asking us to wait for the best. Amen? Next, the second one is, may we have the heart to trust the Lord's leadership. Now, often times we would want things to happen as we lead it, as we want it, as we just love it to happen. But knowing that all His plans, all God's plan, are established meaning it cannot be shaken, it cannot be wavered by any situation, it cannot be altered by any changes in the world. And this established in His loving kindness and His truth. Be comforted that He wants only the best for you and for me. Trust God's leadership. Third is, as we wait for the Lord, may we continue to obey. What do we need to obey? Obey His commands, obey His direction. If He asks us to wait for a month, if He asks us to wait for a year, maybe you're waiting for a promotion that it's not happening for a year already. You've been promised but it didn't happen. Or maybe you've been waiting for that long-awaited proposal by your fiancé, or maybe you're waiting for a child if you're a newlywed woman, or maybe you're waiting for or maybe you've been married for a long time but God hasn't answered your prayer of bearing a child. Continue to put your trust in the Lord and obey whatever He asks you to do. If He asks us to just dwell in His presence, just dwell in His promises, just dwell in His goodness and His loving kindness, and the truth that all the requests that we made before Him are not forgotten. God hears every single cry, even the unspoken request of our hearts. So when we wait upon the Lord, let's continue to just be excited for what God has in store for us. Let's be humble. Let's continue to have that trust in God, and let's continue to just obey His commands, His words, and His will for our lives. And hopefully, we'll continue to reap the harvest of our obedient waiting. And may we continue to harvest the joy even after our long waiting process. So, I pray and I declare that today, may we continue to realize that when God is delaying something, when God is holding back, if we think that He's holding back, trust His heart that it's for our good and only for our best. I wish you all a happy weekend, and may continue to rest in His presence today, and may continue to enjoy His peace, His gift of love, and His gift of provision wherever you are in the world today. God bless. Shalom.